Morning, everybody, and welcome to a Sunday sermon. Each week, we try to bring you the words of inspiration from Holy Spirits, and today we're going to speak with a lesser known angel. Keep in mind that there are many, many archangels that most of you have never heard of. When the ancients would see an energy, they could not differentiate, so they only named a couple of them. Today, we're going to talk to Camael. She is the angel of personal relationships, finding peace, many good things. So hopefully people will pay attention, but you never know. So, Camiel, we're ready if you are. I am indeed ready. I don't get many opportunities to speak directly with humans, and I thank you so much for the opportunity. There are many of us, and I'm speaking of archangels that people have never heard of. There are many of us that just simply do our duty, do what God wants us to do, and do the best that we can to help humans or any other race in the galaxy. There are many civilizations that need help. There are many young cultures in the Milky Way, and humans, especially, need as much help as they can get. We spend most of our time here on Earth trying to heal up relationships that have gone astray. We also try to help you make peace, but as you see, we're perhaps failing miserably at that right now. The world is being torn apart by the war in Europe. Hundreds of thousands of young men are being killed. More hundreds of thousands of people are being displaced and are refugees. It is a very interesting dynamic about what takes place in the world. There are actually very few people that create the havoc of war. Generally, you see it come from a person that has become a dictator, an autocrat, a person that does not pay attention to what those that live in his country really want. Personal desires, egos, that's what takes over. Doesn't have to be taking over in time of war. It can take over for corporations, for individuals. There may be individuals that just simply want to ignore God and speak against him. There are many, many people today that speak against God. You see, good rulers understand that religion and God is very important. Bad rulers understand that God is very dangerous to them. You see, if you believe in good and you see a leader doing badly, if you believe in God, you probably understand what is taking place. Bad leaders always lie to you. Well, good leaders do too occasionally, but hopefully that is the exception for a good leader. Truly dangerous people control the words that are heard by the public. Now, you may not think that is a big deal, but it is. People that speak lies can affect elections that otherwise would be a great thing. Why do relationships go bad? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. As people grow older, their expectations and what they would really like to do with their lives often change. Sometimes it is those changes in lives that sour relationships. If two individuals do not understand that they are there for one another, then quite often relationships sour, they go bad. When the angels try to get involved with relationships that are going bad, They try to take a message to the individual that you should do and understand what is taking place in the life of the other. If you are only worried about your own desires and wishes, then things usually go bad. If your self-interest overtakes everything else in your life, then you reach a point that you care less and less about others. When you care less and less about others, they will care less and less about you as well. When dealing with a relationship, there's probably nothing better to think about than the words that God tells you. Do not do anything to anyone else that you do not want done to you. Pretty simple. In a relationship, you need to do what's best for both of you. You need to do what will make the person with you happy and hopefully make you happy as well. If you feel like you're changing and drawing away from another individual, then you should have conversation with them. Explain to them what is taking place. Don't keep it to yourself. You have to decide whether you want the relationship to work or not. If you don't, then do not make the other person's life miserable by waiting years and years to tell them. Speak openly with your partners. Tell them the truth. Don't lie to them. Once you start lying to an individual, you will get caught. You see, liars always get caught. There's no way that you can continuously lie and not get caught, because you have to remember how you lied, and that's pretty complex. It's a lot easier to tell the truth, then you can always go back to the truth and know that that is the way it should be. If you've told 100 lies, you have to remember that you told 100 lies. If you tell the truth, it's a lot simpler. Many relationships break up because people don't tell the truth to the people in the relationship. We will come to them in their dreams and try to give them direction. But if a person does not want a relationship to work, it's not going to work. You see that with dictators. They will make agreements with other countries. And then when that agreement doesn't agree with what they want, they'll lie about it and simply do what they want anyway. You can't make an agreement with a liar because they can't be trusted by definition. When a person is known for the lies that they tell, then that is a person you need to avoid. Relationships can be very, very difficult. Many people just simply are not suitable for a loving relationship. If they're self-centered, if they tell lies, if they only want to do what they want to do, then a relationship with another is not good. It won't work. There are religions that are based on uneven relationships between male and female. That does not take advantage of the great advantages that a woman can bring. You see, all souls are equal, especially when they're in heaven. But when all souls are on earth, they're equal and should be treated equally. When a woman is not treated equally, you're going against the words of God. And those words of God mean something. The words of God are truly the only words that you should follow. They're so simple. Lead a good life. Don't do anything that you don't want done to you. If you follow those two simple words, and you will find that life will be so much better for you. Today, we're seeing many, many people fighting wars. There are huge countries that want nothing more than to dominate the world. They don't really care how many lives that they affect. They do not care how many people are killed in order to gain what the leaders of those countries want. We try to come to those leaders and try to give them advice, but it doesn't work. You see their egos and their abilities to ignore what other people want overtake their lives. When they return, they'll realize the mistakes they make, but during their lifetimes, they affect hundreds of thousands of people. Making peace. How do you overcome hatreds of the past to make peace? We're faced with that conundrum every day. We look at these cultures, especially in the Middle East. There's no greater example of hatred in the world today than what you see in the Middle East. The Arabs hate the Jews, and many of the Jews hate the Arabs. They're becoming very efficient at killing each other. We don't like that as we watch. Why can't people get along? Have you ever asked yourself that question? You say because they hate each other. Well, we tell you not to hate. We tell you not to show anger. If you don't hate, don't show anger, then there's a good chance that you'll lead a fairly peaceful life. There's also a good chance that your life will be drug into a path that you do not want it to be on by individuals that do not follow your hopes and desires. Evil is growing. There's no doubt. There are people with incredible strength. In many instances, great wealth leads to evil. Individuals with great wealth think that they're very special because they have that commodity. They think that they can do what they want to those that don't have great wealth. In a democracy, you have a little bit of control through your elections. But if you're misled through lies and propaganda, you really don't know what to do. Some of your politicians are some of the best liars that we've ever seen from this side. So they are so good that there really is literally no way that you can know what they will do in office unless you can see the future. Sadly, politicians will tell people anything to get elected. And then after they elected, they will do whatever they want. How do you know what they'll do in the future? Well, the only thing you can do is look at their past. What they've done in the past is quite probably what they'll do in the future. So when you choose your leaders, look at how they truly have lived their lives, not how people tell you that they've lived their lives or how they tell you they've lived their lives. Look at whether they have truly followed God. That is probably the greatest thing that you can do. The greatest lie that many politicians ever tell is that they have prayed for an answer. They've prayed that they don't get an answer, and they prepare themselves not to get any. The knowledge of God and the future is the ultimate knowledge. Sadly, people cannot have that knowledge. But you have to know this. You have to follow God's words. When you follow God's words, I would have very, very little to do. You would have better relationships, and you would not be fighting these wars. Humans seem to enjoy fighting wars. I cannot truly understand them in many instances. They do things that will promote anger and hatred. When you promote anger and hatred, that other person, in all probability, is going to fight back. If you don't establish circumstances where other people hate you and show anger, the odds are pretty good that you will not be involved in such situations. That advice also goes for countries. It goes for everyone. If a country does not do anything that will aggravate another country, if a country does not show hatred towards another country, then the odds are pretty good that those two countries can live in peace. There are many planets in the galaxy that have learned this lesson. They don't show anger towards anyone else. They don't show hatreds. And the result is they live in peace with the other planets. The scale of the ability to create war on other planets is almost exponential from what humans have the ability to do. Yes, humans have gained the ability to destroy their own planet, all life on it. There are cultures that have weapons that are capable of destroying the planet itself to create rubble where this beautiful planet has existed. That is the power of other creatures and other beings in the galaxy. But they have learned the ability to get along. They don't want their planet destroyed, so they don't attempt to destroy another planet. It might be there's a weaker country, and the strong country attacks the weaker. And the friends of that weaker country come to their aid, and all of a sudden you have a world war. It's a very difficult time that you're living in. Most of you have no ability to affect the big picture. There are very few people that have control. Those people have incredible wealth. There are people that have more wealth at this time than many countries possess. And they're not about to use it to do good. Things are coming to a time where something must change. Good absolutely must prevail over evil for humans to evolve in the way God wants them to evolve. All of us angels are available to help each and every one of you. Just simply ask for our help through prayer, and we will get a message to you. You may not even know you've received this message, but we will help guide you every day of your lives. Just simply remember this: never show anger, never show hatred, and never do anything you want done to yourself. In 30 seconds and less, I have told you the most important lessons a human could ever learn. You don't have to be brilliant to understand that simple lesson. All you have to do is follow the words of God. You know what his words are. They are any word that will bring you peace, happiness, and love. God speaks to you in many languages. He speaks to you in many different ways. He has us, the archangels, come to you and try to do his bidding. There is so much guidance to help you do good. There is no guidance that helps you do bad. When you do bad, you're doing it on your own. When you do bad, you're harming others, but you are harming yourself in the greatest way. Because when you go back, you're not going to advance in the realms. You are not going to become more like God. You're going to be put into a lower realm. And then you will have to live all of these lives to overcome what you did. Bad karma. Bad karma is very real. We can help you in many things, but we cannot make the decisions in which you create bad karma. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak today. I thought I'd try to approach things a little differently. You never know when somebody will listen. Thank you so much. God is blessing all of you listening as always. Thank you and goodbye. Very, very interesting lesson. She certainly presented things in a different way, and I thank her for it. Camael, you're a wonderful angel. So we'll be back again next week with another message. Not sure who it'll be. They haven't told me yet. But you can rest assured that it will be superb. Tell your friends about us. We need more listeners. We need to change more lives. I know that my time is going to be limited, and I will keep going as long as I can. Do your best. That's what God wants of you. Goodbye.